If your goals and dream is to become an animator and work for a really big studio production or a studio company, please think before you do that. I'm telling you from my experience. Sometimes all that glitter is not really gold, and I had to learn that the hard way. What I'm about to share with you still rattles me and still really confuses me. I tried my very best to try to look at it from a logical perspective, but even as I do that, it still doesn't make any sense and still doesn't check out some of the logical ways I've thought about this. It's really creepy what happened, and you really don't know what goes on behind closed doors at these big studio companies and production studios. Growing up, I loved drawing. I loved drawing cartoons and loved drawing stuff inspired by anime. I remember one time we were going on a high school field trip. We were going to this animation studio called Oasis Studio, where they produce some of the biggest animations and cartoons and anime. I loved that studio because they produced a lot of my favorite shows and anime, and I always dreamed of working there. They showed us around. They showed us some of the recording studios and recording booth, and they showed us how they draw some of their animations and how they design it and how they process it all for it to be aired on television. I remember I was real fascinated by it, and I always wanted to do something like that. Fast forward 10 years later, I remember I was walking up to Oasis Studio with all my stuff as I was beginning to start my first day working there as one of the employees. I really was excited. I could cry. This has been my lifelong dream. I took a deep breath and I began to enter into the studio. As I was doing so, I saw a woman running out of the place crying. As she was crying, she looked up at me with wide eyes and she said something that kind of gave me chills, and it was a bit of a red flag, but I ignored it. Now looking back on that, I really wish I did took her advice or really kind of took her warning kind of serious. She said to me, "You're new here. You're about to start. I recommend you to turn around. You don't want to work here. They treat us inhuman." She said to me while still crying with tears in her eyes. She ran off. And I thought that was a little weird at the time, but I brushed it off. I was still excited about working here. When I got in, I was met up with a woman at the front desk who gave me my name tag and my employee number. As soon as I clocked in, I was met with someone by the name of Dylan. He was the supervisor of animation and design department, the same department where I was going to be working at. He was a very tall guy. He had blue eyes, he had glasses on, and he had a ponytail. He had on a nice, sleazy, clean suit. Hi there, I take it that you're the new guy, Jonathan Taggart, right?" he asked in a shaky voice, looking nervous as he was looking around the office like he was expecting someone to come. "That's absolutely correct. How you doing, Dylan? You must be the supervisor." Indeed I am. I'm the supervisor. Let me show you around and let me tell you what you're going to be doing." As Dylan was showing me around, I couldn't help but to notice that something about him just seemed off. He was nervous, I could tell, but he was trying to hide it. Plus, I noticed that he kept on straightening his tie constantly. Plus, I could tell he was sweating profusely. I can hear the shakiness in his voice. It was almost like he was scared of something, but I couldn't really place what it was. Once Dylan got done showing me around the place, he took me into my office. Well, my office that I was going to be sharing with another coworker. But when I got to the office, it was huge. Plus, it was on the very top floor. So there was a large window that looked down onto the city. It was a really magnificent sight. There was 2 desks there. On the far right side, there was a desk that had a name tag that said Katrina, which I figured was my coworker. And then on the far left side was my desk that had my name, Jonathan Taggart. "All right, Mr. Taggart, I'm gonna go back into the room next door, my office. Just let me know if you need anything, alright? Dylan said, with his voice still sounding shaky. I still couldn't shake that uneasiness I felt from how Dylan was talking. Something was off with him, but I tried not to let it ruin my first day. Oh, hello, you must be Jonathan. How are you? I looked it up from my computer and I saw a woman wearing capri pants, black shoes, and she had on heavy eyeliners. Plus, she had a nose piercing as well. Plus, she had tattoos all over her. From my guess, I can tell that this girl was gothic. She walked into the room, smiled, and she sat next to me. So I was assuming that her name was Katrina. And you must be Katrina. How's it going? Nice to meet you, I said to her as she was walking towards my desk, shaking my hands. As me and Katrina were talking, getting to know one another, we heard an announcement on the speaker that had the whole office quiet. But it really had Dylan really frantic and crying. It felt so weird. Dylan, come to my office now. Immediately. You're in big trouble, a malevolent voice said on the speaker. The voice felt so dark and cold. Something about the way that person spoke on the speaker, it felt evil and wrong. No. Please don't make me go in there. Please don't make me go in there. I don't want to go through it again. No. Come on. There's no way I'm going back in there. I can't go back in there. It's scary. I can't. I worked it hard. I thought I worked it hard. I don't want it to happen to me what happened to them. I'm so scared. A nervous Dylan was saying. I turned to Katrina to ask her what was going on and why was Dylan crying and acting so scared. But when I looked at Katrina, her face was pale and I could see she had tears in her eyes. I asked her, Katrina, what's going on? Why are you crying? And why is Dylan crying? Why is he acting so scared like he don't want to meet the manager or the boss? Is there something going on? Something I should know about? Jonathan, you really made a big mistake by coming here. I think you should work somewhere else. Look, get out of here while you still can, because if you don't, you're gonna be stuck here. Trust me when I tell you this. Please, leave. Just quit. It's not too late for you. You just started. Leave. Katrina, what are you talking about? I just started here. I'm not leaving nowhere. This is my dream job. I love working. Oasis Studio is not what you think it is. The boss here, he's something different. He's not like your typical boss. You need to leave now, Jonathan. Just leave. I really wish you hadn't came here. You're a really good guy. I would hate for someone like you to really find out what this place is about and it destroys everything that you have worked it for and all your dreams and your ambition. Just leave. Go to another studio production. Leave. Please, just do that. What are you talking about? What do you mean our boss is not like any other bosses? Look, I never met Mr. Spinner, but I know eventually I am going to meet him. I'm pretty sure he's a nice guy. What are you talking about? What are you going on about? No. Come on, Mr. Skinner. You don't want to do this to me. Please, Mr. Skinner. No. Me and Katrina's face turned pale. All the colors on us just drained. What was going on? What did Mr. Spinner do to Dylan to make him yell like that? And before I can go even further into what was going on, Katrina said something to me. Oh my God. He's starting quicker now. Oh my God, no, this can't be happening. Look, Jonathan, you need to get out of here now, okay? I'm leaving. I'm not going to stay here and be treated the way he's treating Dylan and like he did to everyone else. I can't do this. I'm sorry. If you're not going to leave, you're on your own. I warned you. You need to get out of here. I'm out. Before I can even say anything, Katrina packed her stuff and left the room so fast. I saw her get on the elevator, and then she was gone. I was very curious and wanting to know what was going on. Why was Dylan yelling? What was Mr. Spinner doing to him? And before I can even go over there to ask what happened, Dylan came back. But something was off. He was smiling. Like before, when I started, he was nervous and always looking around. Now he's smiling with confidence in him. I walked it over to Dylan and I asked him, "Hey, Dylan, are you okay? I heard you yelling and screaming back there. Are you all right? I was a little bit concerned about you. John, don't worry about me. I was just playing around with Mr. Spinner. He was just telling me a joke. All right, well, if you don't mind, I would like for you to stay overnight, because we have a lot of stuff we need to get done before tomorrow. Also, where's Katrina? I was wondering where she went because she was supposed to be here to help you out. Oh, well, she quit. So I'm here by myself. Oh, that's a shocker. Well, don't worry. We'll hire more people and we'll hire someone to be your new work roommate. So for right now, I have you take care of these animations that you gotta complete by tomorrow. And, you can leave at around 6 a.m. and you can have that day off as well. Well, I gotta get out of here. See you tomorrow, Jonathan, or the next day, Jonathan. You take care. Bye. After Dylan left, I got back to work. A couple hours had passed, and I decided that my curiosity was getting the better of me. Mr. Spinner and this new and improved Dylan were gone, so I decided to get up and look for Mr. Spinner's office because I want to know what went down in there. Something had to went down for Dylan to yell, and now he's acting totally different. As I went, I found Mr. Spinner's office. It said Mr. Spinner. And I went inside of his office. I looked around. I didn't see nothing out of the ordinary. I kept on looking until I noticed a door that was behind his work chair. I walked it over there slowly and I tried to unlock the door, but it wouldn't come open. I unlocked it or tried to unlock it again, but nothing. This time, I looked around and I noticed his drawer was slightly open. I opened the drawer and I looked around, and that's when I found what looked like the key to this hidden door. I grabbed the key and I unlocked the door. That simple. When I walked inside, I noticed the atmosphere was different. Matter of fact, the whole place was different. When I walked inside, it felt like a hospital. Like some type of small hospital connected to the studio. I walked it around and I heard a weird noise. It sounded like a machine or something. I got closer and closer and closer until I noticed something really terrifying and shocking at the same time. It was all starting to make sense now. I looked up and I saw Dylan, the real Dylan, and a few other workers as well that I saw in here that I recognized out there. What was going on? And what made the situation even worse was I looked, and I saw Katrina. There was no way. I thought to myself that I just got done talking to Katrina and she wanted to leave. Or so I thought. Maybe this was the real Katrina and everyone else was real as well. And those people out there, they were clones of some sort. I literally felt sick to my stomach. This was what's going on. I turned around because I was going to make a run for it and figure out what I was going to do next. But when I turned around, I saw 4 people. And I recognized them. It was Dylan, the fake Dylan, Katrina, and our boss, Mr. Spinner. All 3 of them started smiling at me. They didn't say anything. And before I knew it, a couple of days had passed, and I was really enjoying my new life as a design and artist for Oasis Studio. I love my job, and I feel like I belong here. Well, that's all I'm gonna say about it. Jonathan, Clone 1, signing out.